We had to do it. Taking it back to the boink wedding.
Welcome to Atlanta, Jack and Hammers and Bones, back to the Mac.
But you know what? I want this to play on YouTube, so I'm about to cut this off.
Who is it? I would happen to know the one with the
Fuck YouTube. We ride out today, baby. Parlay Pete, AC Lee, and a special guest. A speaking special guest. Young Boink here. We're about to talk about the greatest run in hip-hop history. It started with OutKast at the Source Awards. The South got something to say, and we ain't shut the fuck up yet. What's happening? Parlay Pete, what's up, man?
AC Lee, how are we doing? We're back again this week with the show that has been in the making, for
a year?
Definitely a full 12 months, maybe more like 14 or 15 months.
We talked about in a dead period last year, and then we didn't get to it because football started, and it just wasn't going to get played until the dead period again.
Yeah, and then everybody kept getting married, and then you had a child. It was just a lot going on, right?
Yeah, man, but we have a special guest here. Not first time listener. Many time visitor. Is this your first time on the AC Lee and Parlay Pete iteration?
It is. I think I've had probably a 2-year hiatus since I was in grad school, but I'm back. I'm done. So I'll be a frequent guest from here on out.
Yeah, Joe House. Yeah, I don't got a good sound effect for you. Sorry. We'll get there though. Got to get used to my new setup here, guys. I've rearranged the place, and everything's not where it once was. So I'm a creature of habit, and without these habits, I'm screwed. I did a lot more cursing than I normally do on the intro, but I got kind of excited because I'm hanging out with my friends.
Hey man, glad to be here.
And we've got such a topic that is, the definition, or certainly it doesn't define Atlanta, but certainly it's such a huge part of Atlanta and its identity and its culture.
It's the reason why people chose to scam here and not New York. Because ain't nobody listening to that dead shit no more up there. And ain't nobody.
There's a little period when A$AP Rocky, I thought that he was going to bring New York back. I was wrong, but
he didn't.
He had that little period where he was really hot too, like at one point.
But he didn't sound like New York. He sounded
like Houston.
Yeah, it was like this mix, but it was still New York, right? Like, I could be wrong because I'm not a New Yorker. He was still jiggy, right? Like,
what does jiggy mean?
I don't know. I mean, it's some shit that he said, but I'm just saying he's jiggy with it, and then he's the Harlem nigga, right? So, like, I mean,
get money in Harlem, baby.
But
no. When it comes to getting jiggy, I think about Two Step and DJ Unk. Camp Productions.
Oh man, that's a good one.
We got a special guest here, Boink. He's been on hiatus because he's been working on his education. Who does that, loser? And he's going to be making more frequent appearances now. Zoe, he's going to be on the pod more.
Yeah, make sure you cut that into a social media breakout.
I will write that down. 351. Zoe. The 2 dots go over the E, right?
Yeah.
Gotta make sure I spell it right on paper, even though she can't see it. It's a respectful way to go about it. So, man, guys, it's great to be here on this pod. We got so much to get to. Julian Turner's on standby, and he may join us, but I highly doubt it. He has his hands full.
Are we sure it's his hands that are actually full?
I hope he's using those as well.
Okay.
So what do you got?
So
the point of this podcast is to talk about the 20 greatest hip hop songs in Atlanta history. And I want to let the listeners know that I'm the oldest person here, and I was born in 91, and these two guys were born in 93. So there's an era of great Atlanta hip hop that we're not going to really talk about because we weren't outside to feel that music. And yeah, we've gone back, listened to some of it, listened to the albums, but it's not the same when you're not outside to feel it. And there's also this new era of Atlanta music, like Nudie and shit, where we can talk about it a little bit, but we ain't bumping that. You know what I'm saying? So like we're really gonna focus this on the 2000s and 2010s era of Atlanta hip hop, if we're gonna be honest, because this is our coming of age, our outside, we're older, we're not moving outside like we used to, but these are still our favorite artists who are still putting out bangers. And we're gonna talk about that because in pre-production, we didn't even talk about 21 Savage.
No.
And yeah, he got some. So where do you guys want to start?
Well, I figured we can pay the respects to the early 90s Freakney Atlanta, even though, like you said, we didn't too much listen to any of that. And for what it's worth, the reason why is because it didn't age very well. And that's the honest to God truth. That music doesn't age that well. It still can get thrown on at cookouts, you know, any type of event that's outside, pool parties. These are things that it can come on and you could still listen to it, but nobody's bumping that shit really in their car. Not anyone that is in their late 20s, early 30s.
You ain't trying to listen to this right here?
I was gonna say you don't constantly do the bankhead bounce.
But nah, it's important to talk about this era because you throw in Freaknik, you throw in the 96 Olympics. Shout out to Boink's hat repping the 96 Olympics. It was a time that really showed Atlanta to the world. You know, you got the college kids coming out to Atlanta for the Freaknik, and then seeing all the black prosperity in Atlanta. It's like, oh shit, I can party here and I can get money here and be black. I might move. Yeah, I'm gonna move here after I graduate. You got the AU Center, which all three of us are products of. Well, the best institution in the AU Center, Morehouse College. So you get that. You get people wanting to come to the AU because of Freaknik, because of the black prosperity, and it was party city. You got the party music. So the music is so important, and we can talk about it a little bit. But what that music set up for, you know, like the magic cities of what BMF was doing and making the strip club a thing, and then the twerk music that came out of the city, the party music. You know what I'm saying? It's what these are the pioneers that we care about. You know what I mean?
It sets the stage for the real heavy hitters of Atlanta, and even your one-off guys that didn't have long-term success but are still memorable in their own right. That type of music to me set the stage for that. Some people would like to think that they kind of were a little bit of a knockoff of Two Live Crew, obviously being Miami, and it's all South, right? But I think that Atlanta did it better in terms of variety, as opposed to, it feels like Two Live Crew was about the only group in Miami, while there were multiple songs that came out in Atlanta, and even a young Terrius Nash is a part of that era too. It's crazy.
So what, Boink, tell me some of your favorite songs from that Freaknik era when you think about it.
Man, obviously like the Bankhead Bounce, which you played, like that's classic. You know, grew up doing that, you know, when I was 3 and 4.
Casting it and bringing it back.
Yeah, you know, my parents like played it in the car or whatever. I'd say like I think I did have one song, and it's probably like a little bit outside of the Freaknik era, but like kind of edging in that same era, period. Kilo Ali, Love in Your Mouth.
Bruh, that was mine.
Like I discovered that song in probably like 6th or 7th grade. I had no business listening to it. But I still play that song from time to time. But like I don't know if I would categorize it like as like the kind of like bounce like Freaknik type deal.
I put Kilo Ali in that era because sonically it's still similar. Like even the flows, the tones, like what's up? Oh, not what's up, but baby.
Yeah.
You work it on me, baby. Now this is my shit right here. We was listening to this with Big Low today. I don't know if she should be listening to it, but
Because like the opening line is like, I met this girl in Atlanta, let me play in her Mizout. Like,
and bro, think about this. How long did the Mizout, the Jizzles, how long did that shit like run in Atlanta?
shit, that I don't know. I wasn't outside yet.
I tell you what, I'll say it stopped. I'll tell you when it stopped. It stopped when Jay-Z used it.
Well, because he's a cornball brother.
What, like 01?
That's as mainstream as it was going to get in the early 2000s. If Jay-Z is doing something, I mean, it's out there, you know?
Hey, Parlay Pete, what's one of your favorite songs from the Freaknik era? Because Boink took mine, asshole.
Well, that's obviously the Bankhead Bounce is always, it just is going to be synonymous with that period and being the most notable because it's one of the first dancers, right? Like here. And we have, obviously, we're going to get to the rest of them and what it sets the stage for, but that certainly is up there. And then another one I really like, I like Raheem the Dream, The Most Beautiful Girl.
The most beautiful girl in the world.
Yeah, that's another one.
It's ticking.
Yeah. But while he's basically talking to a chick, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the song is dedicated to a chick, and then the Dream has a singing role in it, kind of like a little bit towards the end.
You know, you bring that up, you bring up that song, and we're going to kind of pivot into it in the next piece here. I really just love the diversity of Atlanta music because a lot of it is dance-based and like flashy, get attention. I mean, but that's the city. But then like, it's also like super deep and lyrical at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, some of your best lyrical rappers come out of a city where that's known more so for the flash and the hook and the beat, and not necessarily the verse. But
yeah, I mean, I think obviously OutKast, like
we're not there yet.
I know
we're still in Freaknik,
but they were around.
They were around, and we're gonna get to that. But here's my song, and we'll get out of the Freaknik era because we don't know shit about Freaknik. We young. I forgot about this song until I was prepping for the show.
But what's crazy is most people are going to know this for Bryson Tiller sampling it.
Yeah.
I didn't know he sampled it.
Yeah, on
Exchange, I think.
I don't listen to Bryson Tiller.
But that's how it starts. It starts off. Well, that is the sample. It's the in like the background, like the entire time.
Which is crazy because like "Shawty Swing My Way" was like one of them songs when we were little kids that was on V103 all the time.
V103, 95.5 The Beat.
95.5 The Beat.
You know, when motherfuckers were going to Club Europe, Wild Bills. Yeah. You know, when 95.5 The Beat would have commercials that basically just down V103 saying, he's like, I don't like listening to V103. They talk too much.
Oh, they
did. The 95.5 The Beat always played the hit. They played the music. V103, you know, you got Tigger talking.
Frank Ski.
And
Wanda. Ryan Cameron.
Yeah.
What's my girl name? Who's on
Greg Street?
You got Greg Street, Portia Fox. My girl
L.
who's
Duncan
on
was on there
now.
L. Duncan.
L. Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh.
L. Duncan.
It's 5. I know it's 6 o'clock.
It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, for Greg Street to rock.
Time for Greg Street to rock on V103.
Greg Street.
V103 is my free money station. Give me my money. But now the crazy thing about V103 is, right, because when you hear about like these historical hip hop conversations in the radio, they only talk about New York radio and Big Boy. But Greg Street was really playing non-radio music in his mixes. On the radio, and as a kid I didn't know because I'm a kid. I'm not outside. Then as you get older, and you know, in the white truck, I didn't have no aux cord, so we was listening to to the radio. And then you're starting to you're hearing the same shit you heard in the club, but only like when we're going to the grocery store after class and stuff. Like you're not hearing it in the regular radio shit. You go, oh damn, Greg Street really playing that shit.
Yeah, no, he's underrated for sure. I don't even know if is he still on.
I assume so.
I haven't listened to the radio in years.
And then, yeah, me neither. And he probably is. I mean, I know that he's always at the car shows and stuff still. So I have to imagine he's the V103 rep when he gets to go in there. And then we got to bring up an honorable mention just from the radio standpoint. I know they came a little bit later, but Hot 107.9. And I just remember as a kid, and I know we're going to get to that era, but that was a big era at the end before they were on Sirius XM. Gangsta Grills Radio used to come on there at night, and that's when Drama was really dropping some heat,
grimy stuff. Yeah.
Man, but the mixes, but then he would debut like some Jeezy, bro. It was like the
Dirty
fucking
Boys.
show. I don't want to get too far ahead, but he would debut like the Jeezy Dano verse. He like dropped it that one night. He kept running it back just like Flex did Otis. Like he was running his shit back that entire time. It was crazy. I remember. It was a moment.
All right,
What's crazy is I sit in the car and listen to like the 30-minute drop of the song, and it's like I just wouldn't leave the car.
Well,
like my parents are going.
What option did you have? You couldn't find it on YouTube.
Yeah, that's real.
I don't even know if YouTube was out yet. You know what I mean?
It didn't. Fun fact: do you know how YouTube came about?
No, tell us.
YouTube came about because the guys that created it wanted to find the Janet Jackson tit video from the Super Bowl, and it was nowhere online. So that was what inspired them to start YouTube.
That's funny.
That's funny, but they're creeps. There are a lot of tits online that you can find.
Well, I don't know if they wanted to see the titty. I mean, obviously you want to, right? That's the kind of the point of the video. But like, I think it was just the idea that you couldn't even replay that memory unless you recorded the Super Bowl with TiVo or had it on VHS, which the NFL will come after you if you had it on VHS. Because this copyright is express consent without a consent written from the NFL or whatever. You know how they do that right before the game starts. So like, you get sued.
I used to love NFL games all the time.
No, I'm not saying that you couldn't. I'm just saying, that technically, without that sheet of paper,
Well, you see what they did to Pat McAfee this past year. Like he had a certain deal with the NFL, but then they came and said, "Hey, dog, you can't use highlights." Like it was super weird, and so he couldn't speak NFL for a little while until the lawyers worked it out because the NFL are about their money. What did Jerry say to Rob Kraft? Don't fuck with me. So the next era, I think this next era is what propelled Atlanta. Talked about a little bit on the intro of, the Source Awards, 3 Stacks saying the South got something to say. And because hip hop originated in New York, and if they don't respect you lyrically in New York, then you're not respected like in the rap game as like serious rappers, like you're bubblegum rappers. And I think this next era, this mid 90s going into the early 2000s of OutKast and Goody Mob and stuff really, really solidified Atlanta as, oh nah, like they down there making real music. Like this ain't just no don't dance and party shit. Like these niggas out here rapping. Like name a rapper who can out rap with 3 Stacks. You know what I'm saying?
And it's a unique rap too. It's not normal. It isn't, Andre 3000 and Big Boy, they damn near created flows. You know what I mean? These were flows that nobody had ever heard. They got singing. This is an early era too, where they got singing too on there, where they're kind of doing the singing, or Goody Mob's in the background doing the singing of the records to make it have this unique sound and these unique beats too that they're over.
Yeah, no. And even though I know for me, I was still young when this stuff came out, but the music has really stood the test of time because I can listen to Southern Playlist of Cadillac Funky Music, like cover to cover, and go, Yeah, nah.
He was in his bag.
It's just his own vibe.
Yeah.
And that vibe only exists with him.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want to talk, Goody Mob is similar-ish, you know, because they all come from that dungeon sound, you know. But who replicated OutKast?
It's only been one.
Hey, who can walk around barefoot playing a flute in Harlem?
Or in Tokyo.
Or yeah, all over the world.
Right.
Or be in Pigeon Forge. My homeboy Todd ran into 3 stacks at Pigeon Forge. Well, like while we were in college. Dog, why are you in Pigeon Forge?
Yeah, no, I believe that.
But he was out there playing the flute. Or was he just out there?
He was just out there and he was like, no pictures.
Yeah.
So are we like having the OutKast conversation now, or
Yeah, we're having an OutKast conversation.
But like, what's also crazy about OutKast is like they switched up their sound too, like multiple times, and it always worked. You know, because even like Speaker Box Love Below, like that's not, you know, like their older like kind of like funky stuff. Like it's still like sprinkled in there, but it's just they just did whatever they wanted to do, and it always worked.
And they were also street niggas.
Yeah.
and we're able to obviously have the music, the deep cuts, but obviously too, of course, they were super popular on the radio. Like I know growing up, the one song I just, for whatever reason, I always remember hearing it on the radio. And I'm talking about early elementary school, first grade, kindergarten. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Ooh.
Always was on the radio. That song was fucking, you know, you would have thought that they paid for that song to be on the radio. How many times you would hear it? Like,
they probably did. Payola.
Yeah. You think they were a part of that big payola bust that happened in like, what was it? It was like 09, I think. 08, something like that.
I think every artist is part of payola. The labels just do it, so it's not payola when the label does it.
There's some wild stories about that too. Like people spending X amount of money on like a group that nobody listens to, and then nobody still listened to them, like even when they did it. Like,
I mean, well, that's kind of the nature of rap music. So, boy, give your perspective on OutKast as a young buck and how it followed you to. Oh, cause shit, we went to their last concert in Atlanta.
We did, yeah. That was crazy just to see them in person.
was that 420 Fest?
No,
that was
no. So we went to
we went
to the tour. Remember they went on tour. They did like a Select City tour in 2014. And yeah, we pulled up and we brought fucking Delano with us.
Man, honestly, like I don't remember much from that show. Probably hit the bottle a little too hard before it, and I wish I hadn't. But like just to say, I saw them in person. Yeah, I should have put the bottle down. Just to say I saw them in person is amazing because like. I mean, they really don't perform anymore. But like growing up, like you mentioned, like Miss Jackson, like So Fresh, So Clean. It's like I still like that's kind of like I had to go back and listen to all of their earlier stuff, like Southern Playalistic, all that. Stankonia. Yeah, Stankonia. Like so, like that's and especially like Speaker Box Love Below, like that's really like when I like got into them.
That was like the first one I felt like we were buying CDs at that point in our life.
Yeah.
Buying our own uncut CDs or downloading them or getting a friend to make the mixtape for you. And I went back and listened to a lot of that stuff. I think in college is when I really like just dove deep into it. And golly, I love Jazzy Bell. It changed Pussy Money Weed for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I heard Pussy Money Weed first. Then I'm listening to the album. Then Jazzy Bell comes on. I go, Aha. See what you did there, Wayne.
Yeah.
But now their influence is just, it's a weird influence, right? Because everybody loves it, but you don't hear something and go, oh yeah, that's OutKast influence right there. Because it's so good and so unique that it's
its own lane.
Yeah.
There are people that I would like to say I can hear somewhat of the influence in their music, but even then you have to kind of reach to make this connection to it. Like you could argue maybe even a guy like, I don't know, like Childish Gambino, I feel like tries to not emulate that because he's kind of his own artist too, but like he does this weird thing with his music to where it feels like he's like, I don't know, taking influence from that.
It don't sound like it though.
I say like Earth Gang. I don't really listen to Earth Gang like I have in the past, and like maybe Jid like on Dream Chasers or Dreamville.
Yeah,
like you can definitely like hear the influence from them, and both of them are from Atlanta, and they have like kind of that, I don't even know what to call it, like just out there sound and out there like they're yeah, exactly.
Yeah, guys like that.
But they're obviously not as big, right?
That too. They that is insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
But yeah, it's a not even an often replicated, never duplicated situation because they weren't ever really replicated. Like,
yeah,
that's the crazy part. They set the standard for what was to come and how the music needed to be excellent, but then it created for everybody else to create their own style of music too, because it wasn't like theirs. And that was their sound. And even though that felt like the Atlanta sound, it birthed a new sound because there are street niggas that were like, man, I can't do the hey y'all. Like, I can't make a record like that. So, you know, that's some heavy drums, some 808 drums on with a hard ass bass. And then I'm going to talk my shit about where I'm from, whether that's the east side, the south side, or the west side. Nobody's typically from the north side. So, but
Migos is.
Well, and they're Gwinnett North. But you know, when I think North,
I know. They're not really from that. But even like stuff like something like this verse right here is what made OutKast so unique.
Now walk it out. Walk it out. Now walk it out.
They weren't supposed to get on the song.
No.
Yeah, Jim Jones, you're fine because all you had was balling and your Dipset stuff.
I haven't heard this song in like probably 10 years.
Heard like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Walk it out like a usher. If you say real talk, I probably won't trust you. If you want to go to war, the gun's my pleasure. Even Jesus had 12 disciples on the lever, trigger, whatever. You don't want now they get 3,000. I'm like jury duty, you're new to this part of town. Your white tee, well to me, look like a nightgown. Make your mama proud, take that thing 2 sizes down. Then you look like the man that you are, or what you could.
He OG'd the hell out of this beat, is really what he did.
If it was considered a classic before the drastic change in production when cars were metal instead of plastic, value is what I'm talking about. Take 2 of these and walk it out. You'll be the reason they chalk it out. You can't be the king in the parking lot forever. Not saying I'm the best, but should they find something better, I am here, no fear. Write me a letter. Till then, I walk it out, I walk it out, I walk it out, I walk it out, I walk it out.
It's like he didn't even have to do this part, like, you know.
Walk it out, I west side walk it out, I west side walk it out, then east side walk it out, I walk it out.
But yeah, no, it's like 3 stacks. And again, Big Boy killed this shit too. And we haven't really talked about Big Boy. Why did you hop on this trendy ass, dancey ass song towards the end of the OutKast run and just shit like this, bro?
I mean, but like they always like put on for like up and coming artists too, though.
True.
And like kind of still do. Like like I was watching a YouTube like video about like Andre in the Booth or whatever, or really like OutKast. And they were just like talking to a bunch of people, and it's like, yeah, like he'll do anything, like if he fucks with you, yeah. And like, you know, a bunch of like younger artists have like sent him stuff, and he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Or it's like, nah, this song's not me, and like I'm not opposed to working with you, but like apparently he's like pretty selective too about what he does.
I can see that. I mean, my God, that Life of the Party he did.
Yeah.
Obviously, recency bias, but one of the better verses I've just heard. Just him talking to Kanye's mama, to talk to his mama, to go through like his life, and like, and Kanye had such a good verse coming behind that. You don't realize it until like the fifth time you've heard the song.
Yeah,
like
that's
when
the
you
thing, like 3 Stacks is like always gonna steal the show.
Well, if you were a rapper, would you want 3 Stacks to open your song? Like your lead single?
I mean, like part of me is like, I know it's gonna sell, so like, and it's gonna get spun, but like nobody else is gonna even listen to what I have to say.
No, Andre. I'm sorry. You can be on the B side. So Parlay P, I just asked a question. You're a rapper. Do you want 3 Stacks to do a feature on your lead single? No. You're thinking about it.
Yeah, no. And you have to really consider yourself the ultimate lyricist, or you're just so okay with him having that guest spot. Like, I look at like Rick Ross, 16, great song. And I thought Ross actually kind of bodied it too, but
won't care.
Andre 3000 basically did to that song what Jay-Z did to God did.
Hove did.
Yeah, like he just took the song and he gave you a 3.5 minute verse to make the song a 6-minute song, and he also kind of did the hook too, I guess, a little bit.
Right.
The hook, so
they sent you they sent him the concept of the song. He didn't listen to your verse at all. He did his own hook, and then he just started rapping, and then he sent it back to you and said, "Hey, do it. Don't change my shit. Put your stuff around me on your song. I bet. Out of here."
And I'll say this too, and obviously I'm a huge Kanye fan, but you know, even Life of the Party.
We're two for
We
two.
just talked about that.
Oh, Life of the Party?
Yeah.
I mean, that's because that's like the most. I mean, I know he did the shit with Killer Mike, but that's like more of the most recent. But he took the concept of that song and wrote a letter to Kanye's mom, asking him to talk to his parents while like, bro, he just murdered it. Like he murdered it. And it was crazy because Kanye obviously didn't include it on the initial. Now he said it's because of like the cursing or something, but like
lies.
But then too, Kanye changed his verse. Like Kanye had a diss. It was really a diss to Drake, right? And like Kid Cudi, but like then he changes his verse that ultimately even gets put out. It was odd, but yeah, just he's not somebody I would want on my lead single. And if you notice, he's typically not on people's lead single.
Yeah, he'll come on the remix.
Remix, or like in the case of Rick Ross, like 16. Like I feel like that song was like a single, but it wasn't a single.
No.
It wasn't a radio song.
No, but like when you downloaded the album or open the album, you're looking at the track list. Oh, 3 Stacks. I'm gonna listen to this first. And here's
the real her with Drake and Wayne.
Say again.
The real her on Take Care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many random like
Pink
features.
Matters.
Like he was on
Pink Matters with Frank
like
Ocean.
the Deuces remix.
Rapper, but you know,
farewell email to a female.
Right.
That verse grew on me. At first, I didn't really rock with it, and then I went back and listened to it. I said, I did that.
Yeah.
He did the T.I. song too.
Yeah. No, he took the shit on it too.
But here's what we've done. We've done a terrible job talking about Big Boy.
That era.
No. The era is OutKast, but no, we've done a bad job talking about Big Boy because, kind of like we talked about on Life of the Party, how you don't realize how good Kanye's verse was until the fifth time you listen to it. Big Boy out raps a lot of people's favorite rappers, and when Big Boy gets a feature, he usually goes crazy. Big Boy held his own against Andre for albums and albums and albums. And what have we done? We spent the last 20 minutes talking about 3 Stacks.
Yeah.
It's because he's the more lyrical guy, and it's so, and maybe because it's so much rarer to get music from him now, we feel like that it's almost as if he's this legend. Like, he is a legend, but in a literal sense of he's like a legend of kind of the way like how Michael Jordan gets talked about, right? It's like there's this legend about Andre, as opposed to with Big Boy, it feels like you can kind of get him. He's seen so much more. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he's on ATL the movie, right? And even funny fact about that too, you know that his entire everything that he said on there was unscripted, that he just did all that.
Yeah, I believe that.
Look like it.
Yeah.
I know that.
Oh, yeah, I know that ain't who I think it is.
He's such a good example of an Atlanta nigga too, though. And like the Falcons use him a lot. He was obviously he got to do the Super Bowl when it was here, and they should have done it. The NFL really dropped the ball by not having an all Atlanta show. There's just too much history here.
Well, they had Macklemore, Adam Levine with some bullshit.
It was Maroon 5 and Travis Scott had a part, and then OutKast, they let them do fucking like Morris Brown or what did they do?
Doesn't matter.
I like the way you move is what they did. Which, hey, that's another thing. Big Boy had a time period where he was carrying because like there were singles that Andre 3000 wasn't on, like that one.
Yeah.
Well, that was their whole album where it was split.
Yeah, split album.
Was that on?
That was on.
I like the way you move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so yeah. Kenny G, unique little like person to throw in on a song, but like, obviously Kryptonite, right? Purple Ribbon Gang.
Kryptonite.
I mean, I'd be on that. Hey, straight up.
If you want me, you can find me in the 8.
Yeah.
But as we pivot out of here, just a quick shout out to just the Dungeon family in itself. I mean, Killer Mike put out the best album of this year so far. CeeLo.
Big Gip.
CeeLo underrated. Big CeeLo fan.
When that nigga get to singing,
yeah,
I'm like, fuck you.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about like the song he did with Offset. He get to singing on that bitch. You got the Trick Daddy song In the Wind.
Yeah,
making noises and that should just be sounding good.
Yeah.
You know, Todd went to a CeeLo show and they took a picture together. It was one of them like outside pull-up shows, and they look very similar in shape.
I can see that too.
I actually graduated high school with his daughter.
Did he raise her?
Chambly. He was at the graduation.
I mean,
I don't know like what the situation was, but
I mean, he was there at least, so he at least act like he raised her.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
drove in the wind. Good call. Right. Good call back to CeeLo. That was a killer hook.
Is there anything else from that era we want to talk about before we go into the next era? Damn, Dean, you ain't post that picture. I know you posted that picture.
Okay. I think I'm good.
Well, I'll give you a song, and of course, OutKast is on it. One of my favorite songs from that era too is Goody Mob, and it's Black Ice, Sky High. Love that song. Touched what I never touched before, seen what I never seen before. Woke up to sing the sun, sky high, sky high.
Yeah.
Black Ice is a great song. Like put it this way, on that 20 list, that song is on there for me. It's one of the best songs out of the city.
Pierce, I know you'll know this. I can't remember right now, but which OutKast song was that's funny. On Madden, I think it was 04.
Ooh. Madden OutKast.
Church.
Was it Church?
That was on a Madden. Why are we here?
It might have been 05, but either way, like OutKast definitely had. It might have been Rosa Parks, to be honest.
It was Church.
The whole world. It was Church.
It was Church.
The whole world was on a Madden too.
And then they had. You said who?
The whole world.
Whole world.
And
the whole world.
They had Akashawn. They had Killer Mike Akashawn. Yeah.
Oh
First,
yeah.
Like Michael Vick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
what a great soundtrack.
Yeah,
Madden
that's solid.
Yeah.
That no.
Yeah.
Damn.
Back when I
Great
used to play
soundtrack.
video games with the sound on.
Right. and then, you know, kind of as OutKast started building up, Atlanta got into like a weird spot because Atlanta started putting out like commercial music. But at the same time, you got like the beginning of trap music, you know, and then you also have the beginning of the crunk era. And like all of these things are happening at the same time. But while this is happening, OutKast is still producing albums like in their lane. And so now kind of let's transition to the commercial era, the crunk era, and the early trap. Like we got to tie these three together. And we can dive into each one individually, but we have to talk about this era together. I'm going to throw it to you first, Boink. Which one do you want to dive into first? I'm about to dive in.
I mean, like, as you alluded to, like, there's so many things going on, like, from, I'd say, like, 2000 to, like, 05 that are, like, separate entities. Like, you got Crunk, which is, like, its very own thing.
You know, it's like how people... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't even know if I would like put the Ying Yang Twins in Crunk. Like, are they Crunk?
Yeah. I was gonna say we need to get that drop. That could be a fucking drop. Yeah.
But then you got like clearly like Lil Jon, right? Like that's clearly like Crunk.
Side Boys,
you know,
Young
like,
Bloods.
Young Bloods, like that's all. Like that's kind of like that. This is really when I started like. Oh, obviously I listened to music before that, but it was like, all right, like I'm kind of like off on my own, like listening to music.
I have songs that I create as my favorite, as opposed to I like this song because my parents or my siblings listen to it or something.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel you. I mean, that's exactly how I feel, and I think that with that era, it kicks off. We got to kick it off where it starts. You go in chronological order. It starts with Ludacris.
It does start with Ludacris.
It starts with Luda. Southern Hospitality.
But then he wasn't really crunk though. Like he was just like kind of commercial, like not really trap, but like.
And in a weird way, I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but in a weird way, it's almost like Ludacris or Nicki Minaj is the female version of Ludacris, like in a sense of this animated kind of like rap style with some crazy lines. But it's like crispy rap. Like it's like he's the first.
Yeah, he's saying some shit.
Outside of obviously OutKast, right? He's like the first individual lyricist type of rapper in Atlanta. Like he used to kill Rap City his Rap City freestyles are unmatched. Yeah. Yes, bro, they're unmatched.
And he used to do the radio with Lala.
Right, that too. And of course, because he was a radio guy.
But Lala went to Redan.
Did she?
I think so.
Sierra went to Redan.
Same thing.
But yeah, I think Ludacris is like probably a good starting point for this era.
Ludacris is very underrated.
Bro, yeah, like we could probably have like 20 Ludacris hits that are like legit like bangers, like in stand up, you know, just by himself.
Stand up?
Yeah, stand up, right. Move, like
the Too Fast, Too Furious. Him. You know what's so funny? Him hopping on that movie to me. I always Too Fast, Too Furious is my favorite. I stopped watching after the fifth one. The fifth one was actually good too, but like, him getting the soundtrack, drive too fast, drive too furious.
I'm too fast for y'all, man.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite Ludacris songs right here.
Welcome to the United States of America. Time to roll out the red.
It's almost like a freestyle type when he's actually rapping.
And
And
this is
he's
the intro, right?
yeah
It's not taking a beer. It's
word of mouth.
okay, yeah.
These bitches throwing rose petals at my feet, man. They wanna spoil me, treating me like royalty. What am I supposed to do? It's such a sweet thing. Work that track, whip them like Kunta. That's why they stay down. They loyal citizens of Zamunda. By way of ATL. If you disagree, don't even look at me, ho. Don't pass go, just go straight to jail. With no probation or bail. But this ain't Monopoly, it's Jolly Green Giants, cause we smoke so much broccoli. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o, looters, oodles, and noodles. And testing me is like pit bulls put up the poodle. My rap career goes back further than your father's hairline. It's Ludacris, I pack more nuts than Delta Airlines. I'm fly, even when I get high, I work cash. And even got my coat bumped up to first class. I'm boss to all employees, and I'm here to teach the principle, cause I've been saved by more bells than Lord Voorhees. Man, fuck that.
Bro, that nigga can rap.
He can. Luda can rap. He had so many hits that were good commercially, and then of course there were the album cut stuff that wasn't like commercial, which I guess I'm trying to think, was Diamond in the Back, was that wasn't a single, was it?
Yeah, it was a video on BT.
Well, either way, you think of stuff like that, you think of even at the time the features that he was doing, like the Holiday Inn feature comes to mind.
Yeah, he killed that shit.
Yeah, he did. He did. And it was weird because honestly, it's like Snoop Dogg.
Drop, kaboom, let me rub on your nipples. Some call me Ludacris. Some call me Mr. Wiggles. Far from little. Yeah. He
had the feature with Be All Right with Trina, who obviously just kind of did the intro there.
Shit, he had the feature with Young Buck.
Area Codes was a single too.
Single, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Good song though, obviously.
Shit resonates when you get older too.
He did the Getting Some Head with Shauna because that was his artist.
I was getting some head. Getting some. I remember when that shit would come on like at house parties and everybody just sitting there like this. Niggas ain't getting no goddamn head at all. You just have to get some twerk. Talk about I'm getting some head. No, you ain't.
Jamie Foxx's first single, Unpredictable.
Girl, you're comfortable.
Yeah, man. And Luda bodies it. Like,
well, so I look at Word of Mouth because Word of Mouth is my favorite Ludacris album. It's probably because it's the first one I bought and listened to like cover to cover. Back when, you know, like you hook the CD up in the car and you're on a road trip, bro. The album's getting played.
Yeah.
There are just so many songs on here. I'm like, yo, like this nigga was making shit. Like even like on here, Saturday is not counted as a single, but it was definitely ended up becoming a single. Like the video.
I'd say that was like one of the, like arguably, maybe not the lead single, but like it was definitely getting like.
You
like
got
really
roll. He led it with Roll Out, which was that's that TV shit. But then Move Bitch was probably the one that lasted the longest, because, you know, Mystical, the sexual assaulter. Here I come, here I go. Oh, don't jump, just move.
That beat is crazy though. I still listen to that beat.
You have
this one right here.
Yeah. I
know you be down there like making beats with your drums and rapping and shit.
I mean, I don't rap, but you know, I dabble.
You had Faison Love opening up Freaky Things for him with Jagged Edge. Another one that was not a single.
But that was it, yeah.
And he had Twister on there too.
Yeah, you got some hits.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Ludacris, dog. If people aren't gonna appreciate Ludacris, this group of guys in there. Are you 30 yet, Pierce?
I'll be 30 in, let's see, how many days? 20-something days.
Yeah, like 3 weeks.
Yeah, you know what?
More like 4, but yeah.
Late 20s, early 30s group of guys right here. We appreciate who you are and what you've done for the culture, Ludacris. You want to go into the early trap or the crunk? Because again,
so I got one more.
Crunk came first.
Hold on, what you got, boy?
Like, I mean, could we call this like the So Def era?
Oh, because Bow Wow. You want to talk about Bow Wow and Jagged Edge?
Them Franchise Boys.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's like a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in the Snap Crank era.
It was just a question because you know, my dad, he's from Alabama, so like whenever we drive to Alabama and we come back, I knew I was like back home when I saw the So Def billboard.
Yeah,
So I don't even know if it's still there, but like, I mean, shit.
doubt it. Probably went down with the BMF billboard.
Nah, I don't think that it's there entering because you're doing that going north coming from south, right? That's where that billboard was. Kind of right before like Topfield.
Yeah.
I don't think it's there anymore. But yeah.
Either way, that's all I had.
You can certainly throw So Def in there, but So Def was so 90s too.
It was
right?
90s,
like
yeah.
Crisscross.
Shit we ain't gonna talk about.
Yeah. Well, and that's why when we had the conversation about a Jermaine Dupri versus Diddy thing, I think that off rip, on paper, of course, most people are going to be like Diddy.
Because he's from New York. He's from Harlem.
Diddy had a ton of hits too. Like, I mean, like Diddy has hits that are his songs, right? Like,
yeah.
But I don't know any Jermaine Dupri like, man, I love this Jermaine Dupri song.
He got some Mariah Carey and Janet Jackson.
I mean, I guess like isn't Welcome to Atlanta like his song?
Like,
well, I mean, but you can't knock him as a producer for not being as front facing as Diddy was.
That's true.
He still got money at a thing.
Yeah, I know, right? But
you remember when we saw him in the Apple store?
Yeah, Teron
tweeted him.
And Teron tweeted him, say he looked dirty, like a bum. He looked poor. And he found us and looked at us.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Like we watched him look at his phone, then look around the store, find us, because I mean, who looks like Goldenmouth Tommy? Nobody. For that nigga from 101, and he looked and made a dirty look. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Mr. Dupri did not. He did not take a liking to what was said.
So I got one more Ludacris thing. Adam, were you with me the one night that I saw Ludacris outside of Waffle House?
Nah, you was with Jack, Deja. What's the other girl name? Tori.
Yeah. Either way, I saw Ludacris outside of Waffle House at like 3 a.m. and like he's legit like 5'4", because he walked past me, and like I was obviously drunk, and like I didn't realize he was that short. So I was like Ludacris, because like it took me back, like bro, this dude is like really small, and he like looked over at me. He's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, oh, I didn't want anything. I just wanted to see if that was like actually you, because I was not expecting you to be like 5'4".
Was this the Ludacris with a haircut?
Yeah, he had to. This is like probably like 2014 or so.
Yeah,
he was with Keisha Knight Pulliam too. She was with him.
Rudy Huxtable.
Right.
Hey, you think that line got her?
Probably.
I mean, he got the money too, so.
I mean, they're the same size, though.
I mean, he bought her a Birkin before Birkins was cool. He got movie money. That's why he stopped rapping.
Right.
And he had that Conjure money.
But that's what's also crazy about Atlanta music too. Is like you literally can like just be out and about and like see these people like it's nothing.
Dog, I remember Wale was just driving / walking around campus my freshman year, just on the promenade.
Yeah.
Chill. Yeah, well, because he was probably fucking getting ready to promote or was that our freshman year? He did, because
it was my freshman year.
So that was like More About Nothing.
Yeah, it was more about nothing.
Yeah.
Because our freshman year, they were doing it with Ambition. They were like dropping.
Yeah, Josh was passing out stickers.
Josh was passing out stickers.
Josh who?
Josh Holsey.
Let me tell you something. Josh Holsey tried to convince me that Wale made better music than Kanye West.
Josh was the biggest Wale fan when we first got to college.
Yeah.
He had like the Ambition sticker on his laptop and was like, that was like, he was a Wale guy.
Yeah.
Wale is vastly underrated, and I am a Wale stan, but I would not say he makes better music than Kanye West.
And that came out of Josh Holsey's mouth. I promise you, freshman year, he literally said that, and I had to rethink if I wanted to be friends with him anymore because I'm like, bro, if you've got this questionable of a music taste, it's just like I don't know what I can trust you with. Like,
well, you can't trust him with your politics. He's a flaming lib.
I'm gonna let that alone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so which I would have hit. Where we want to go? Do we want to go early trap or do we want to hit the crunk shit?
I mean, the crunk shit is like
Crunk.
all time. Like that, like that.
Hey, hold on. Here's what we're gonna do. Let me close the hour out, and then we open the next hour with the crunk stuff. Hey, so AC Lee Parlay Pete podcast featuring Boink. We're talking Atlanta music, and we were supposed to come up with the top 20 Atlanta songs. Probably not going to get there. It's just going to be a great discussion appreciating music. That concludes hour one.